Okay, so we're going to continue with the last problem on here, which you can clearly tell is interval ratio data. The reason that I can tell is because it comes in numerical units, and these are individual numerical units. People were asked, how many movies did you watch at home in the past month? And people could say, oh, I watched 5, and I watched 2. They were told to provide an actual numerical unit. So let's get started. We know that we can calculate the mode, and we can calculate the median and the mean. Let's start with the mode. This is the score that appears the most often. So let's take a look, and it appears that 1 is going to be our most popular answer. It appears more often than any other score, so our mode is 1 movie. Next up is the median, and we know that what we have to do for this one is to list the numbers from low to high. So we go 0, 3 times, 1, 4 times, 2 appears once, 3 appears twice, 4 appears once, 5 appears twice. Let me make sure I have all of them. 3, 7, 8, 10, 13, 3, 6, 9. It appears I am missing one. So it's always good to double check your work. This is a good example of that. Let's find out where I went wrong. I'm missing a 7. So I'm going to add that to the end, and we're good to go. All right. So to find the middle score, there's many different ways that you can do it. But it's basically narrowing it down so that you're down to the middle score. Make sure to delete the same amount on the left as you do on the right. So in this case, I deleted 6 on the left, 6 on the right, and I'm left with exactly 2 middle scores, 1 and 2. What do I do now? Well, I'm just going to have to find the middle of those 2 middle scores. So our median is going to be 1.5 movies. And that's because 1.5 is in the middle of 1 and 2. If you want to do the math version of this, what you do is you add up the scores and you divide by 2. So whatever your 2 scores are, in this case 1 and 2, you're going to add them up and then divide by 2. So you still get the same answer, 1.5. And now let's look at the mean. For the mean, there is a formula known as the y-bar formula. I can't really draw out all the symbols on here, so you're going to want to check the book for all the symbols. But basically, it's y bar equals... Okay, actually, after pausing and working on this for a bit, I was able to find a way to include symbols using the equation function on Word. So this is the equation y bar equals sigma y divided by n. So let's break these symbols down, starting with y bar. So y bar represents the mean, and then this symbol, which is the Greek letter sigma, tells us sum up all of the blank. So it's telling us sum up this following series, right? Series of what? And in this case, it's the series of y. So y is going to represent individual scores. So y represents all of these, right? It could be any of them and all of them. N is going to be the sample size, or the total number of scores in our sample. So it's literally telling us to add up all of the y scores and divide by the total sample size. So all we have to do is take our calculator, add up all of our scores, and so once we do that, if we were to put all of this into a calculator, and I'm combining some of the scores, so that's why the numbers seem a little weird. we should get 33. So if you take all these numbers and add them up one by one, you'll get 33. After that, it says divide by n. Our n is the total sample size, and in this case, we have a sample size of 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 scores. So we're going to do 33 divided by 14. And in this case, we get 2.3571, etc. I'm going to round that to 2.4. Wherever you want to round it is fine, as long as we're rounding correctly. If 2.4 movies, if the number next to the decimal place we want to round to is 5 or higher, we round up. So this got rounded to 2.4. If the number next to the decimal where we want to round is 4 or lower, then we round down. So that's the rule for rounding. So we have 2.4 for that. So let's go ahead and look at another way of representing data, and that's on frequency tables. So I am going to skip to the last one here and show how to find the mode, median, and the mean on this. And the reason I'm skipping to the last one is because it's interval ratio data, and we can actually do all three. So if you know how to do the mode, median, and mean on interval ratio data, you're able to do it on ordinal and nominal data as well. All right, so first the mode. It's the most popular category, and for this, I'm going to look at which score appeared the most often. The frequency table is measuring the number of classes people are enrolled in. They could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 classes. These are known as our scores. We're going to find the one that was the most popular, and that's going to be 5 classes. So our mode is 5 classes. For the median, what we're going to do is look at cumulative percentage and spot where we meet or surpass the 50% mark. Okay, so in this case, we meet or surpass 50 in this spot here. So our median is going to be 4 classes. For the mean, what we're going to do is find sigma y by creating a new column. So you'll notice that there's a third column here, f times y. Basically, we multiply the scores times f and get f times y. The next thing we want to do is add up all of our f times y. Okay, so after adding up all the f times y, I got 127. So what this is saying is that in total, there were 127 classes that people took. We surveyed 35 people. We asked them, how many classes are you taking? Some of them said 0. Some of them said all sorts of numbers. And in total, they took 127 classes. So we're going to, all we have to do now is take these 127 classes and divide by the 35 people that we surveyed. So 127 divided by 35. So 127 divided by the 35 people is going to come out to an average of 3.6 classes per person. So 3.6 classes is going to be our mathematical average. If you're wondering where this number came from, 127, again, it comes from multiplying the number of people by the number of classes that they took. So for example, this one person took 0 classes, so they contributed 0 classes. These 10 people, for example, took 4 classes each. So how many classes did they contribute in total? If 10 people took 4 classes, they contributed a total of 40 classes. These 10 people attributed for 40 classes. And so that's why we do this. And then basically what we're doing is getting the total number of classes that everybody took and dividing it by the number of people. So there's measures of central tendency.